seemed prepared to submit to a marriage connection that would strengthen the business that had allowed the Rackhams to rise up through the class of the working wealthy. Mr. Rackham's business endeavours provided enough income that his wife and daughter lived in a style of comfort outmatched by few of the families in Cumbria. In return, Isabelle knew she would make a match that pleased him, but now she thought perhaps it could please her as well. Mr. Osgood had been effectual rather than warm in his offer of marriage, but surely once she was his wife, she would uncover and encourage his depth of charm and affection. She glanced at her reflection in the glass from several angles. She saw nothing of which to be ashamed. She hoped Mr. Alexander Osgood would feel the same. A quiet knock pulled her attention from the mirror. She turned with forced calm toward the parlour door, where her cousin Edwin, a year her junior and dear friend of her heart, poked his head into the room. "Are you decent?" She looked at him archly. "And if I weren't?" she said. "Too late, I guess. Corruption, scandal, complete loss of position." She pushed an errant curl behind her ear. "You're fairly casual with your social standing." He looked apologetic. "Oh, no, you misunderstand me. I meant to be casual with yours." She laughed and perched on the edge of the couch. "Come, sit with me." She pushed a cushion out of the way. He sat and turned to look at her. His familiar grin overspread his face. "Gracious, Belle! You're a vision." Isabel's smile was proper if not sincere. "And that's what matters. I look the part of beautiful bride. The women out there see that the man of the hour has a respectably handsome wife. Mother gets the notices in the papers. Father gets a share in the Osgood mills. And you?" Edwin asked. "What do you get?" His voice verged too much on the tender. She changed tone immediately by ticking off items on her fingers. "I? A house in the city and a place in the country. A husband to keep me in dresses and pin money. A new name. A new start." She threw him a grin. "A new life." He wrapped his fingers around hers. "And what was so wrong with the old life?" Oh, if he knew how she wished she could simply stay young and free, and home at the lakes with him forever. But to Edwin, every day was a giddy adventure, with little thought for what the next week or year ought to hold. Heart heavy but voice light, she put her head on his shoulder so he could not see her face. "Not a thing is wrong with this life, but it's time." She hoped he couldn't hear the ragged edge in her breath. "We all have to grow up sooner or later, Ed." Edwin made a sound that might have been assent. Or perhaps not. Edwin had been less delighted with Mr. Osgood than had the young ladies. He thought Alexander rather chilly. Isabelle could not exactly argue with that assessment from any personal interactions, but she lent it small credence, as Edwin was the warmest, most ebullient of young men. Beside Edwin, everyone else must appear a bit cold and dull. In addition, Edwin had hinted at his disappointment in Mr. Osgood's family history. A successful business owner who had come up from practically nothing, a possibility that would have been unthinkable only 2 generations ago. Isabelle shrugged off Edwin's concerns. No one cared about such things in these modern times. "He does not deserve you," Edwin said. "Perhaps it is I who do not deserve him," Isabelle countered. He pulled her closer. "You deserve everything wonderful." She whispered into his vest, "You're not required to like him, only to continue to adore me forever as your favorite." He placed a kiss on her hair in response. "Forever," he said. "But oh, how I'll miss you when you've gone." She knew. They'd been inseparable playmates for nearly all their lives, romping through the halls of her home or his, stealing from the cooks, running off with the horses to explore the woods and meadows. Their mothers were sisters, alike in age and temperament, who married favorably, gentlemen who supplied them far beyond the basic needs, and had no objections to purchasing neighboring properties. They'd acted as children so much like brother and sister that they were treated as such, scolded by each other's governesses and by each other's mothers, as well as loved beyond measure by mother and aunt alike. Isabelle wondered occasionally if her mother didn't prefer Ed. Who wouldn't rather have a son? But Edwin had confessed that he feared the same, that his mother would have rather had a daughter for her own. In the end, each determined that their lot, adoration by mother and